Okay, so I hope you all are doing good and you're excited for the third session. And this will be the last session of our, initial series, wherein we will be giving you talking, how this session will going to be in the upcoming weeks and the rest of the phases. So, were you able to catch up with the first two sessions? Can you all give me a yes in the chat or a reaction? Thank you. Thank you, Go. Let me share my screen quickly and we'll move on to the third part. Okay. No worries. Even if you're not able to catch up, I'm sure it will not be something that, if you go through the recordings, you will be able to understand. But at any point, and on any of the important things that you realize that you want some help, hand holding, or you have some queries, you can definitely reach out to me. We will be creating a WhatsApp chat from WhatsApp group from next week onwards. You will be part of that WhatsApp group. I'll take your queries in the start. I'll see, I have not created so far, but this is how I do it. I'll have a query tab, and in the initial 5 minutes, what I'll do, I'll take your queries, I'll mark the date as well. For example, today for me it's 14 and today's query. The queries will not be answered in the starting of the session. Query will be answered at the end of the session so that we are not digressing from the agenda. And in the end, if the person who would be asking the query will be there, and if anyone wants to stay and listen to the query of they still have other question, they can ask and get the clarification. So any question from the previous session, though it was completely into what we did in a previous session was, let me come here. We started with BA's responsibilities. What is a BA and its responsibility, right? And then in the second session, we understood where exactly this BA would be, having these responsibilities applied on. So it's a project. So how a project looks like? A project looks like, depending on the type of project, duration of project, complexity of project, right? It's different phases and what all we do in these phases and how do we deliver a project. So these are the different phases, and we also discussed the responsibilities we would be performing in each of these phases, right? So consider, whatever we are learning, it's for me, I will be, it will be like a story for you that we are writing a story. Initially, first part, second part, third part, fourth part. So I'll be connecting the dots. So whenever I'm taking a class, you will see there is a connection between the previous two classes. For example, today's. So today, what we want to do is, let me just go to the first one, BS roles and responsibility. In the second, we understood like he would be performing these responsibilities on a project. So what are the different phases of a project, right? Now we understood base responsibilities, project is also understood. Now, how do you deliver a project? So there should be some methodology to deliver a project. Okay. And then uh, which under with if I pick a methodology, like what would be the framework to deliver it? For example, we discussed that in the last class, one of the methodology is waterfall, right? And another one is agile. And we also discussed that waterfall is, used less nowadays. But if I talk about agile, you will see 80 to 90% of the project are using waterfall. Sorry, agile. Now, before I move forward, do you have any query on the first two part? I'll just write your queries if you have any. Let me also look into the chat section. Will you be sharing this spreadsheet and how do I get Office 365 without a key? This you'll have to manage go about getting this 365 when mine is not licensed one. Somehow I am able to the technician helped me find a solution. So maybe you can try using it. And about the spreadsheet, it is just my way of, sharing these, whatever I'm teaching. This is my way of, so consider that, tomorrow. So why do I use this spreadsheet? For me, I'm very comfortable in a spreadsheet. So what I want to do is in future, I mean, also you can do it. So you will be always be having a PPT with yourself, right? And whenever you are having a discussion with your client, so always try to picturize or visualize the process. So that way it gives a clarity to the multiple stakeholders who are on the call, right? For example, right now I'm telling you all of these. So it is very easy for you to correct what is happening in all the sessions we are doing. So right now it seems like we are doing step one, step two, step three, four, five, six. So my phase one is completed. Then I move to phase two. So this is my way of delivering. Also, I mean, you can utilize same, or you might be having a better way of doing it. Someone can use whiteboard, someone can use PPT, or even some other tools. So totally up to you how you want to do it. And to be very honest, there is nothing different in this slide or in this spreadsheet. All whatever I am discussing, I am putting it into this spreadsheet. We look at, can you explain Agile one more time? We have not started Agile. So today, this is my phase, class 3, and my focus is on Agile and Scrum framework. So I'm covering it today. Okay, Preet, if you're not able to attend the first one, no worries. You can still catch up. If you look at the recording, you'll get a good idea about what the response PA would be uh, doing in a project, right? So let's quickly start the session for the class 3. So I was here. Methodology, right? Waterfall we have already understood. Now let's understand Agile. So I'll come here, Agile. Let me mark it with some good color. Let's use let's use this one. So Agile is a mindset. Plus, it is a way of working. What is a mindset? We'll understand that mindset, and it is a way of working. Okay, we call it wow. So the focus here is first, before I start Agile, let's quickly look at waterfall. What we understood from waterfall was that it's a linear phase, right? And sequential. Then second, hard to bring in any change. Once you complete one stage, then only you can move to other one. And stages looks like your SDLC. Like you will have um, your design first, then you will move to development, then you will move to test. First is your plan, design, development, testing, and then deliver, right? So it goes in a sequence, right? And at any point, once you complete plan, then only you can move to design, then you can only move to dev. But once you're in dev, if there is a requirement, something you want to do a planning, you cannot do it. Right. So that is how it is. And then takes along to find the working product. Also, you cannot, the feedback cannot be added because you cannot make any change at any point. Right. So this is what waterfall is. There are certain shortcomings. Now, if I go to Agile, Agile works on certain certain focus, right? And there are certain principles. All principles are revolving around these three, four keywords, right? First part is it gives you flexibility. What flexibility? That you can come at any point and try to bring in change. Now, there are certain rules and there are certain dependencies. Whether you can bring in those change and all, that we'll discuss, right? First part is it gives you flexibility. Here, we do not have any flexibility. We have flexibility here. I'll also do a good comparison between waterfall and agile. But let's start first understanding agile. So, first part is flexibility. Second part is collaboration. When I say collaboration, it means at any point I can discuss with the client and understand, like if I am at design stage, so I can understand that this is what I have configured, right? Maybe my FRD is ready or my user stories are ready. So I can take a sign off and also I can take their feedback if they want to change anything. In that way, I am incorporating whatever they are saying. So we have a collaboration here with the client, with the technical team, multiple stakeholders, right? We have a flexibility to take their feedback and also apply those feedback. Third part is customer value. So what I want to do is suppose I am at dev, right? And or maybe I have a project that I have to deliver in maybe 5 months, right? So it is not like, let me create a timeline for you. First month, second month, third, fourth, fifth. What will happen in waterfall? That you will get the desired result at this stage, fourth and fifth week. But in agile, you will get the result in first week itself. Not end to end, but you can call it MVP. We'll discuss about what is MVP in a while. And also you can call a partial result. MVP is your minimum viable product, right? It means a product with limited functionality, but then it will give you an idea how this product will be shaping up later on, right? If I connect it with a real time example, I'll will be taking example which you can relate. Let's take an example of Instagram, right? Instagram has two features. I mean, nowadays you will see most of them has two version, not features, version. I'll come here, version. One is your light version and another is your standard version, right? Here, even with minimum, you will not have end-to-end all the features, but at least basic features to start or use Instagram. Even in LinkedIn has light version, Facebook has light version, right? And then there are different way you can use it. Like some can use it on mobile. When you use it on mobile, you have limited features. When you use it on desktop, you will have multiple features. So consider MVP is just a light version, very light, right? Consider in the first week itself or in the first month itself, you are getting something to look at how this product will be shaping up. And another way I can explain you MVP is this is MVP and this is FP. MVP is your minimum viable product, FP is your final product. Suppose final product you are expecting 100 features, right? So consider in MVP you might be having only 20 or 25 features. But those important features which can tell you how this product will be shaping up and how it will work in future. So this is what in the customer value, this is what we want to give this experience to customer, that he can come and check in the initial days only, in the initial phase only, how this product is shaping up. We are doing a collaboration, we are taking their feedback, that way we are delivering a customer value. Now fourth part is quick delivery. Quick delivery, as I'm discussing, that first month itself you will see some component. So it works like this. Suppose this is your complete project. Um, okay, and in the and these are your week, not week, month one and month two, month three, month four. And in first one, this is my week one. So maybe in week one and maybe in week three, you will see some working product, right? This is called week one and week three. So here only you will see the working product, right? Then this is what I wherein we are checking the focus of quick delivery. So you'll get this product. Now, how do we see this product? How do we see this small working product that is totally dependent on this short development cycle sprint? So how it works is like in waterfall, this is starting from plan, designing, dev, test, deliver. It is going like this in a sequential manner, and this is your timeline: month one, month two, three, four, five. But in agile, what we'll do that suppose this is your timeline. And mark it like this. So here only, like I will be creating a sprint of 2 weeks, like week one and week two. So I'm not telling that I want to take all the components and want to deliver the product here, but out of suppose there are um, 20 requirements, right? So I'm saying out of 20, I'll take only 4 requirements and I deliver in week one and week two. Like by end of week two, you will see these 4 requirements. Similarly, when I move to other, I'll see other requirement. From here, I'll see other requirement. And by end of this part, I'll have 20 requirements completed. Okay. Then, as I mentioned, a frequent feedback, you have continuous improvement. So, Agile will help team deliver working software faster with fewer surprises. Surprises here means not a good one, in a negative one. Because here, understand that you reached in waterfall, you reached fifth month, and you realize that it is not shaping up the way it was planned or the way it was expected. But here in the initial weeks only, maybe here till week four only, you realize that it is not working as expected. So you can change your strategy and try to create a new one. But consider here you would have wasted 4 months. So that way you can eliminate those surprises. Any question from anyone on what agile is? At least now you would be having a good idea how agile works or what agile is. We'll also do a deep dive in the upcoming slides, but just on the introduction part. Any question from anyone? Are you following up? Yes, Shika.
Hi, Nishant.
Yes. Hi, Shika.
Hi. So, Agile is a framework, like it's a rule how like something will be developed, or what? I have a confusion.
See, agile is a methodology.
Okay.
There are methods to complete certain work, right? If you
Hmm.
want to deliver a project, one way is that you can use waterfall methodology, another is your agile. When you're
Hmm.
using this methodology, then I'll come to the Scrum part. Scrum are framework. Agile can be delivered in multiple ways, right? Depending on what kind of project it is. One of the successful and most usually framework of Agile is Scrum.
Hmm.
Apart from them, you will also hear about Kanban, Tetro. Then there is extreme programming. But the most suitable for the ServiceNow project you will see is where Scrum is used. And I mean, some of you have already started doing or have been getting the feedback from Satish that you should be doing PSM or CSM, right? Scrum Master Certificate. So consider that there is a role for this kind of framework. So this is widely accepted. Well, I'll come on to the Scrum part also. I am starting with Agile first, and then next part I will be sharing on Scrum only. Is it
Yeah.
clear?
Yeah,
Any
it's clear.
question?
Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. Let me look at. Okay, you've been. Okay. I think we are good. Let's move to the next slide. As I was explaining, all the difference that we have seen here about waterfall and agile, let's look at the quick difference between them. Waterfall is a linear phase, agile is iterative. When I say iterative, so I have my first cycle here, second cycle, third cycle, fourth cycle. I'll also show you, how visual, if you want to look at visually how it looks like, we'll also see one diagram, how agile looks like. Requirements fixed early, right? So requirement, you will fix the requirements in first phase itself. But in agile, requirements evolve. Suppose here you realize that this requirement has only 5 features, but maybe going forward you realize that I can add 2 more features. So requirements can be evolved. Third part is less customer involvement. Here you have heavy customer involvement because you are delivering product each after each 2 weeks or 3 weeks. So you are involving customer, taking their feedback, showing their working software. So that way interaction is high. Slow to deliver value, frequent delivery. We understood how do we deliver customer value in the starting itself. Then hard to incorporate changes. Changes are welcomed, right? Now you must be thinking that, in agile, in waterfall method, we are not able to take the requirements. But in agile, we are able to take the requirements. But consider that here also I have 5 months, here also I have 5 months. But how come we are able to deliver here and we are not able to deliver here with the changing requirements, right? For example, I'll explain it. This is your agile and this is your waterfall, right? In waterfall also I have 5 months and here also I have 5 months. And I'm saying that here in agile with 5 months, including additional or evolving requirements, I can still deliver, right? But here with the fixed requirement, I cannot deliver. The actual reason behind this scenario is, let me try text. Okay, this is fine. So here I have main requirements plus additional evolving requirements. But at the other end, in waterfall, I cannot do it. The reason is whenever you are taking these requirements, it is not like uh, you can take all the requirements. You will have to validate. How do you validate? By checking whether that requirement is first feasible. Also, is it aligning to the scenario? Sometimes customer can come here in the starting way and says that I'm expecting a changing requirement which should have been here. So you need to understand whether it is applicable to these requirements or not, right? Second, if at any point um, all the stakeholders realized that the new requirements which are coming up are really important, if they are really important and needs to be included and also requires effort, so what you can do in that case is you can extend the timeline. You can share that these requirements were not shared earlier. Now these have been added and these are important ones. And after we have done a thorough investigation, we see that we need additional efforts to complete this. So for that, we need to extend our timeline. So this is how you can include additional requirement. And to be very honest, customer would be accommodating in such scenarios, that customer will understand, yes, this person has come up with a valid logic and valid reasoning. So they're okay to extend the timelines. So this is how it works in case of agile. Right. Let's look at uh, the next slides. So there is Agile Manifesto. They have around 12 principles, I guess, right? But we are not going to on all of them because you might not be able to. That is not required. And to be very honest, all of them are. It's a summary of all of those values. So you can look at it, but here you can. This is a quick summary. These are your four core values: individuals and interactions, right? Over process and tools. In waterfall, it is more about process, more about tools that you will follow everything, right? But in agile, you want to focus on individuals. Like each of the stakeholders matters. Their feedback matters and their involvement matters. And then you want to have an interaction. What all interaction individuals are, you will come to know in upcoming slides. You will have a working software. Here, everything is on the paper. Here you will have a working software. It's not only on papers, but it's more on software and working software. Customer collaboration. Here you do not have customer collaboration more. Here you can respond to change. Here you will have a plan that you are following. With those plan only you can accommodate change, right? So always focus, Agile says we focus on people and outcomes rather than documentation overload, right? After then, these are some principles that are very important that you will be delivering early and continuously. You're welcoming change. You're working closely with stakeholders. You are delivering working product frequently. You're making things simple. And then there are retrospective. Retrospective is something. Suppose I am delivering one cycle here, right? So I will understand like what went right, what went wrong. It is always good and a best practice to understand or to learn from whatever you have delivered. There are things which will be super good happening in your project, and then there will be things which go haywire. So you want to understand, you want to learn from the things which went haywire, and if something is good, you want to take it as a lesson and take it as a best practice for the upcoming projects. Now, a very important part of all of these principles is as a team, as a development team plus BA, our job is to understand the customer needs continuously, right? Because we are having those meetings with them. Now, as the first part of this session was completely on the agile part, like how agile works, what is agile, what are different phases of agile, what are the agile principles, right? How agile is beneficial, what are how it delivers customer values, right? In second part, as I was explaining here, there is a way to deliver agile. Let me first correct my spelling. So one of the agile framework, like how do you deliver agile is Scrum. So Scrum is a framework. Now what is Scrum? We'll understand now. So Scrum is, it's a most widely used agile framework. It has rules, it has ceremonies, it has artifact and sprint. We'll explain all of these one by one, right? What, uh, how Scrum is meet, right? First thing is rules. I'll come here and I'll mark it rules. And what is the role of BA in Scrum? So these are the different roles, typical roles you will see in a Scrum project, right? First part is your PO. Then you will have Scrum Master and you will have development team and then let's look at BA. Usually you have these three for most of your projects, right? Sorry. So we'll start with the product owner. So product owner is someone who understands the product, right? In one of the project, like you're part of a service now, they can have multiple products. Like one of the product is ITSM going on, then there can be HRSD, So ServiceNow product owner will have a good overview of what is happening in this product, what is happening in this HRSD, what are the applications that are under ITSM, what applications are under HRSD, which part of ITSM application I want to deliver, which part under HRSD I want to deliver in the current month or current week or upcoming week, right? So this is what a product owner would do. He will understand what are the important stories also represent business needs. So I'll give you an example here. So this is my consider this is ITSM product, and it's not like at a time only one project can run on. There can be multiple projects going on in a project. I mean multiple assignments. So one assignment which is going on is on ITSM. Another could be HRSD. Or even in ITSM itself, one application I am delivering here is incident management, and then another application is change management, right? Now, this is my week one, right? Week one, week five. Week five means my new month has started. And then, so this is for like 2 months. First month, second month. So as a product owner, you will know like by end of these 2 months, what all I want to deliver. What is all that is expected from me to deliver in this project. So that is the role of product owner. Second part is Scrum Master. Scrum Master is someone who is facilitates ceremonies. Right. So we'll come to know about what are ceremonies in a while. Here is Scrum Master. He will understand if there are any blockers. So he will try to remove the blockers and he will protect the team. Right. I will know how what Scrum Master will do. I'll do not now, but maybe after a month when we'll complete first of our training. Then we'll do one demo. What are the role of Scrum Master? We'll do a demo session. Then I have development team. Development team is comprises of who your developer, testers, PA, and team lead, project manager, right? Mostly project managers are not there, but in some case they'll just come and see what all is happening in your project. Then you want to deliver product increments. Increment is suppose I am delivering something in first week. That is my so my right now my product is P0, as in nothing is here. But after 2 weeks, one increment, P1, right? Or I can call it P1, and by end of 2 weeks, it is P1.5, right? Here it is P1.2. So it means my product is involved. By end of this, maybe at P1.5, as in when I have reached at P1.5, it means my incident management is developed. Similarly, I can have another application that is P2. So here I have P2.1. And do not think that this sprints will be for 2 weeks only. The ideal size of a sprint is uh, minimum 2 and maximum 4. So you see, within a month, you're delivering something, right? So that is your development team will be configuring, developing, testing within this 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or 4 weeks only. Then they will deliver product increments. Now, what is the role of BA in all of these Scrum activities? First, it will support the product owner in requirements and backlog refinement because a PO only will BA only will understand the correct requirements from the business. He is in continuous touch with the business. So that is why he'll understand the requirements. He will clarify acceptance criteria. Will understand what is acceptance criteria maybe in next class or in fifth class. Then he will understand what and why of each of these requirement. Right. Why do we need this? And what is the requirement? He will understand all of these things. Now, as we are saying that the roles are PO, Scrum Master, and development team, it is not necessary that you will see this structure in all of the project. In some project, this Scrum Master may not be there. In some project, this PO may not be there. But BA, since BA is understanding everything with the client, it totally depends on the sizing of the project. In some project, they will say that, BA can handle this Scrum Master or BA can handle this product owner. Now, do not, worry or do not get nervous listening to this that how can BA be playing the role of Scrum Master or product owner? You can, because these roles are relatively it's like a Venn diagram, This is one circle, another circle, and then third circle. So there are certain roles and responsibilities which are common nature. So BA, since understands the complete knowledge from or understand the context of a particular project from the client side, and you also have a good bonding with the development team, can sometimes play these roles. But if the project is a large scale project and there are multiple tracks going on, then you will see this differentiation. All of these roles will be different and then the responsibilities would be different. So you will have to see. So one of the important part to understand is what are my stakeholders? And we are going to cover it in the next class. That who are my stakeholders and how I am going to get in touch with them, how we are going to take the requirements. That we will be doing in the next part. These are your Scrum. First part is Scrum rules are done. These are your typical Scrum rules: Scrum Master, Product Owner, Development Team, and PA. Now, next part is my rules is done. Then I have ceremonies. Ceremonies are nothing but the different meetings that you will see in a Scrum project. Now, when I'm telling you all of these things, consider whenever you are having, suppose you're going for a project for interview, that you have a ServiceNow interview tomorrow, ServiceNow B interview. So one part of an interview, you can expect like 5 minutes. There you will be having question on Agile and Scrum. Right? One of your question would be, what is the length of a sprint? You have worked in BA, you have worked as a BA in the previous project. Tell me what was the length of the sprint that you have worked on. So you can tell them that a few of my sprints were for 2 weeks and few were for 4 weeks, depending on what all requirements we are uh, coming up for a particular phase. Right. So one question is answered here. They can ask you, who all were there in your team? So you can tell them there was a product owner, there was a scrum master, and then we had development team. Right. Now the other question you will be asked is, can you tell me what are the different ceremonies in a scrum project? Now you will tell them you will have typically these four meetings: sprint planning, daily scrum, it's called stand up, right? Sprint review and sprint retrospectives. There is one more, and that is known as backlog grooming or product grooming. So you'll know what is product backlog and sprint backlog or story backlog in a while. First, I'll start with sprint planning. Sprint planning is nothing but teams. You will be picking the stories that you want to. Suppose I am saying that I have one sprint for 2 weeks. So what all I want to deliver here. So you have requirements in the form of user stories. So you tell them I want to pick 4 user stories for these 2 weeks and I want to deliver it. So that is what you plan in this meeting. You will also understand which developer will be working on which story and they'll start working on it. So my sprint planning is done here. So first and foremost, part of your ceremonies is sprint planning. where you will see what all user stories we want to deliver and who will deliver it. And is there any important thing to anything important for consideration, right? So that is the part of your sprint planning. After sprint planning, suppose your team is formed and you are given user stories to work on. Now, next part is your daily stand-up. In sprint planning, it can go on from 30 to like 45 minutes or even 60 minutes. Usually, it is conducted by your product owner, and they will be telling you Scrum Master will be there, BA, and uh, development team can be there, right? It is conducted by your Scrum Master product owner. That is your sprint planning. And after we move to daily stand-up, it happens once in the starting, once in start of sprint. Okay. Then I have daily stand-up. In daily stand-up, this meeting is not more than 15 minutes. And here, Scrum Master may not be there or may be there, but usually it is where development team would be there, right? There will be one person, moderator. Moderator could be your Scrum Master, or if Scrum Master is not there, then BA would be the coordinator, right? And it is happening on daily basis till your sprint gets over, like each day. Okay. And what we discuss here is 15 minutes daily sync. What did I do? Like, what we did yesterday. What is the plan for today? Is there any bottleneck? So you will go to each person, developer one, developer two, developer three. You will ask these questions and they will tell you what they did yesterday, what the story given to them is completed, not completed, what percentage is completed, was there any bottleneck, what is it that you're planning for today, right? This is what you will do. 15 minutes. If you feel that there is some bottleneck, there are some challenges, so you will understand the challenge and you will have a meeting with the respective stakeholders later on. So this is your daily stand-up. After daily stand-up, we'll have a sprint review. Sprint review is nothing but demo working product to stakeholders. Also, you want to understand how, like after the end of you developed everything, then here you want to have a review that the requirements given to you have been developed or not developed. Right? If they are developed, then you want to see how they're shaping up, how they're looking at. This is your requirement demo. It is again 30 minutes. Depends on the content that you want to share, and it usually happens at the end or sometimes in the middle. Middle, middle, it will only happen if the sprint is of longer duration, maybe 4 weeks, right? Then it can happen in the sprint review in the middle. That is optional. If you need any feedback from the client or if you want to discuss anything, then only you can have the sprint review. Then last part is called retrospective. Retrospective is nothing but looking at your entire journey and see what you what lessons you got from this project, right? What are the learning experiences and what are the best practices to have gained? It can again be a 30 minutes and usually within your these stakeholders. So these are your different meetings. Now, apart from them, there is one more meeting that is called backlog grooming.
Refinements. I think backlog
I'll
refinement.
Yes, refinement, grooming, both are same. I'll also see your questions in a while. Just let me finish this one. Backlog grooming is, see, whenever you are deciding what to deliver in this sprint is coming from a box, or I can call it, it's a store. In this store, I have like requirement one, requirement two, requirement three, or in simple words, I can call it user story one, user story two, user story three. From here, I'll pick some and add it here. Also, I'll have to groom this one that the stories which are completed, let's mark it completed. Or do I need more stories here? So all of this is called as backlog grooming. So backlog grooming is not part of your the Scrum, but usually it is done by the product owner and BA can be there. They want to discuss what all we want to have add into this product. That is backlog grouping. Now let's look at in backlog. I can have it's a backlog of user story. It can be a backlog of like product. It can be user story, right? So these are your backlog refinement. Let me quickly look at the questions in a while. Just give me 1 minute. Let me see what all is left. After this, I have. Okay, fine. I can stop at this point. Let me take your queries. Okay. Bhautik, suppose in Agile, if we fix up to 2 week sprint, in between sprint, if customer adds up high priority requirement and we are in midway of sprint, how can you prioritize task without messing up on running sprint? Does new requirement goes to the next sprint? Okay. How Agile framework works? Can you please guide on backlog grooming, retrospective, or Scrum? Okay, so I think the last part is covered. Now, this is a genuine question. So I will take this question and okay, suppose in Agile, great. I will take it at the end and I'll explain it. So I will take one query. Perfect. One query we have taken. Bhautik, just give me, let me finish this one in next 10 minutes. I'll then take your query. Okay. Now let's come, since we all are, hearing that we are bringing requirements, we are bringing user stories. So what exactly is this user story? Let's look at user story. So user story is like a very small component of a whole project, right? I have suppose this whole project, and in this project, I have, this is my one requirement, and then this is my another requirement. And under that requirement, I can create one story. Now, story is, first let me tell you, it should be clear, testable, small enough to complete in one sprint. Now, what is it? A story is in the, like it's a small unit of requirement which will tell you how a system should work, right? Not a system, how you as a system will work, right? If I give you a very simple example, a user story has a format. The format looks like this. as a, right, I want to so that, let's come here. As a, here you will have this. Suppose I am sharing it like this as a service desk agent. So here you will have a persona. Persona is nothing but, suppose in a project, you can be a end user, you can be a BA, you can be a developer, you can be a tester, or you can be a system itself. When you will see this system will be applicable when you are bringing in automation. Suppose something is happening automatically. So in that case, you can call it a system. Okay. So this is persona. So as a persona, I want to, this is where your action lies, right? What action will you be taking? I'll tell you what this action is. And then when you take that action, what is the benefit? Right. Let's take an example. I'll take this example from here only. As a service desk agent, I want to update incident priority so that urgent tickets get resolved first. Okay, so this is my persona. This is the action that this person is taking, and this is the benefit. If I take it a very layman example, like now you'll understand as a Gmail user, I want to enter my credential on login page so that I should be able to log in to my account and access it. Okay, so here we understood as a Gmail user, that is my persona. I want to enter my credential. Here is this is my action. Now, what is the benefit after I enter my credential? I would be able to log into my account and I can access it. Then I can use it as per my requirement. So this is how a user story is created. Now understand, when I was telling you there is no coding involved in BA, consider that this would have been a part of a requirement, and this requirement would be a part of a FRD, and this FRD would be the part of a BRD, and this BRD is coming from client. So your journey is from here. As a BA, you went to the client or you're having a meeting with the client. You understood that there is a BRD which is telling you what is the business requirement. Client will create it. If not, then you will have a discussion, then you will create it. After BRD, you understood how this system will work. What are the functional requirements? After you have understood the functional requirement, you will create requirements. I mean, this requirement is directly you can create user stories. So this is how a user story is created. This user story, you will share it with developer. He will develop it. After it is developed, then it will be tested. After it is tested, you will have a UAT with the client. And after UAT, you will deploy it in prod. See, this is how it works like. So you see, in this whole cycle, BA is never involved in this development or testing. I mean, testing he can involve, he can see how it is working, but development he is not involved. His responsibility is to share this information with development team. So that is what user story is. Now, user story has two components. One is the user story itself, like the description, and second part is acceptance criteria. We call it AC, and I'll call it user story description. Right? Acceptance criteria is nothing but whenever I want to fulfill this user story. So I'll have certain prerequisites. There would be incoming, there would be outgoing. What is it? That Suppose I'm saying here that as a Gmail user, I want to enter my credential on login page. So first requirement here is, see, that I should have my account on Gmail.
So
Right? See,
an active account.
great. Active account. See, these are important things. Right now, you will see that it's silly. How silly things we are adding in acceptance criteria. Because you have used this Gmail for a longer period. But consider you are creating a new product, then these things are very important. And trust me, these acceptance criteria will be a very good thing for you to test how this user story is developed or not. Consider that you have not taken this into account, and there is a person who is just entering the credential. Maybe the credential are not from Gmail, from other account, and they are trying to saying that he will fail the test case, that this is not working, this is not developed. But now you will go to the acceptance criteria, you will understand that you need account on Gmail, and it should be an active one, and then you should also have credentials. Okay. Now sometimes you might not be able to understand how to write these acceptance criteria. So there is a format. So there is like template. So you can write what are the things that you need to perform this user story. Then when you should perform this user story. I mean this example. And then last is your 10th part. Like given what should be what you should have an account, active account, credential. When you are entering into the login page should be available, right? It should be developed. Then once it is logged in, then you should be able to log in. And after login, you should be able to see the emails, right? So all of those things are part of your acceptance criteria. So this is how one part of requirement is created. Now, when you have these requirements, you can tag as many stories you want. You can tag a single user story, you can have two user story or three user story, depending on how you're breaking up this requirement into and what are the important points that is covered in this requirement. So that is user story for you. So in a cycle, it can have one user story, two, three, four, depending on the requirement. Okay, now there is one more thing that we'll come to know about it since you have multiple user stories. So how do I differentiate between user stories? So either you will say that does it mean that I can only deliver one user story in one sprint? So each of the user stories, you will you will be having a meeting with your developer wherein you want to understand what is the effort required to complete this user story. Some user story can be completed within 2 days, some can be completed within 3 days, 4 days. So you see, there is a complexity involved. Low, medium, and high. Based on this, you will, I mean, not you, there is a concept called story points. In story points, you will tell them, story points are usually from 1 to 10, and then you can, okay, 1 to, and you can tell them, it means the one with less number will take less number of time. I mean, less duration. The one with greater number will take more time. And this you will decide on the basis of on the discussion with your developer. So usually low lies between 1 to 3. Mhm. 1 to 3, and then it lies between 4 to 7, and then 8 to 9. So this is how it is. Now do not worry that how it looks like, how we're going to work on it. We still have not opened our PDI. Who all knows what is PDI? Can you put it into the chat, please? What is PDI? We discussed in the last class. Let me see if we get a response. Okay, no response. PDI is your, in layman term, I'll call it a
Personal developer
sandbox.
instance.
Sorry?
Personal developer instance, I believe.
Great, 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 great. Perfect. Personal developer instance where you are actually going to practice everything. Even we'll create one user story there, we'll assign a story points. We'll see how we are going to run one sprint. So that is you will do on PDI. Okay. So you understand about the story points, how the story points work? We'll see in demo how we are going to enter story points into a user story. This is your user stories explained. Now let's move to Scrum artifacts. Now you'll also understand that yes, we understood that there is Agile and Agile will be delivered by Scrum framework. Scrum, I'll create user stories, but what are my artifacts, right? So one part is your product backlog, then sprint backlog, increment, user stories, and acceptance criteria. We discussed all of them. Now, if I look at visually how it looks like, so this is how a typical sprint looks like. So you will have a list of stories, then you will have product backlog, and then sprint backlogs. There can be multiple sprint. Here you will have multiple products, and then you have sprints like one sprint, two, three, four. You will decide that in current month I want to have this sprint. So sprint is added into the planning phase, and sprint planning we discussed. You will add the sprint, and from here you will add the user stories, like what are user stories I want to enter here. Or maybe here only you have added the user story. These lines are your user stories. You will add in the sprint planning and then it will start. Okay, implementation start. And when you are going to the implementation, then you will have a daily scrum meeting. On daily basis, you are understanding what are user stories you have completed, what is the stage, what is the bottleneck. You will try to resolve it. Suppose it is for 3 weeks. So you do it for 3 weeks. You can have a review in between. Once it is done, you have reviewed, it is shared with the stakeholders, they have shared a sign off. Then in the end, you have a retrospective. When you want to look at the cycle, this journey you had of 2 to 3 weeks, and what are the positives and negatives? What are the lessons, best practices you have learned, or anything that you want to take it forward for the next project? Once it is done, then I have a product increment. Like first part is done. Second part, third, fourth, fifth. Maybe here I have delivered one component of the requirement and here another. So that is how you start marking everything in the completed state. This is how a typical sprint looks like. Now, BA's responsibilities is first he will help in writing and refining the user stories. They will define acceptance criteria. Now, you can always have a draft version of user stories and acceptance criteria, but you will always take a sign off from the client that this is what we are including in the requirements. You will have a meeting with the PO product owner and you will decide which all user stories you want to send in a particular sprint, right? You will have to facilitate communication between business and development team in case they want a clarification, they want to understand the context. You will participate in sprint ceremonies. You will support demo and UAT. UAT is your user acceptance testing. So this is it all about your Agile and Scrum framework. So Agile and Scrum framework, we have discussed about what is Agile. Then we discussed about what is Scrum. We also discussed about the BA role in the Scrum. Now over to the questions. If you have any, you can start putting it into the chat. Okay, Bhautik has one more question. Does each requirement has one user story? What shall be the simplistic way to put requirements so team can understand? Example, requirement, one story or one story, one persona or one story, one feature. Okay, about, see, whenever we are here, like in my first week, and we are deciding what all user stories we want to put in there. So estimation, we call it estimation. In estimation, I will decide First, we'll understand what is the duration of my sprint. Okay, then I'll understand who are my team members. Suppose I have two developers. Then I also need to understand their skills mapping. I also have to understand their experience level, right? If it is a senior developer, then he can work in less number of time. If it is a junior developer, he might take some more time. And there can be a scenario that one developer is just learning, has started, maybe it's a fresher, another one is senior one. So these are the various factors you will take into consideration before you suppose you have 5 user stories. Before you assign these user stories to these developer, maybe then you will have to understand out of these five, maybe two are low complexity and three are high complexity. So what you will do? These three will definitely go to the senior one and two will go to the junior one. Even with the junior, you will say that the senior developer would be supervising that what is it that this fresher is doing. So this is how you want to um, estimate. At the same time, your other question was, does each requirement will have one user story? The answer is with the BA itself. Do you think I can deliver it in one user story? You will have to analyze the requirement, right? You can break it down. For example, if you're saying one user story for one requirement, then this will become a complex one, like high on complexity. It will take maybe 5 days to deliver, right? Similarly, if I break that requirement into three user story, then three user stories can be delivered like one, and one like this. So totally depends if you want to break it, if you do not want to break it. But if you are breaking it, the chances are you will describe it more. It will be easy for uh, um, developer to work on it. Just simple example. Uh, I can give you a ServiceNow BA training, right? I will simply start with ServiceNow and then I'll tell you that this is over. Second part is I will break it down. First, I'll break down for you what is business analyst. Second part, what is ServiceNow? Third, what is admin part of it? Fourth, will tell you, oh, if I'll give you one example of ITSM. Then I'll tell you as a BA what you will do in a project. See, it's like I'm telling you how a user story work. One part is I can come and deliver in one phase. That this is your course. Second part is I am telling you this is my first phase. This is my second phase. This is my third phase, fourth phase, fifth phase. Now tell me which one is easy for you to understand. This one or this one? Consider that I am your BA and you are my developers. So if I am giving you this user story and then as a BA I am giving you this user story, which one will you be comfortable in understanding? Okay, I hope you got the answer.
Got it. Thanks, Nissan.
Okay, so Bhautik, one more question you were asking. We explained during between is customer adds up high. This I think I've explained in the starting. If customer is coming to you and says that where is it here? If there is an additional requirement, right? So first you will validate um, whether the requirement is feasible. That can I work on that requirement? The answer is yes. Okay. Next part. Is it aligning to the current sprint? If the answer is yes, okay. Then you will all the stakeholders that there is a new requirement. Second part is you will want to understand what is the effort required. After you have yes for first two part, like requirement is feasible and it is aligning to the scenario, then you want to understand effort. If effort is minimal, then you can accommodate. If it is a major one, then you will go to the stakeholders and tell them we have a new requirement and it will take effort and we would be either we can take this requirement, or if it is urgent then we'll have to push some of the stories from the current sprint to another sprint. If not, then we might have to extend the sprint. So you will have to take those scenarios into the picture and discuss with the client itself, right? But you will always have these things clarified first, whether it is feasible, it is required now, it is aligning to the scenario. Then you can take this up on priority basis. Is it clear, Pathik?
Yes, I got it.
Okay. Do we have any other query from anyone? Okay. If not, then I think we are good for today's class. These were the first three sessions which we wanted to tell you how the BA journey would look like. And from like next week's, we will be having next part of our service now. You will be receiving assignments, and after a week we will move to the service now. So we are expecting that you will be making the payment by end of this week. So you can connect or Tia or from someone from like lead techno. So these team will reach out to you. So you can start making your payments so that from next week onwards, we'll have a WhatsApp group created. You will be part of this WhatsApp group. You can share your queries and we'll try to answer in the class or in the group itself. And sometimes you will be able to answer those questions. Not some, most of the time you will be able to answer it. But sometimes if you're not able to answer, I am there. I'll post into the group itself. If not, then we'll take it in the class. This is it from my side. Any query if we have? If not, then I think we are good to close. Sudesh, are you there? Can you hear me? Do you want to add
Hey,
anything on top
Nishant.
of
Yep,
it?
yep, yep. Thank you so much, Nishant, for the wonderful session. Thank you very much. And yep, just want to reiterate that we have concluded the three complimentary sessions so that you can just attend and just get to know us and our as a partner. It's very important for you to understand who you want to partner with to transition into an IT career or a ServiceNow BA career. So this is a great opportunity for you to understand our training method and our values. And I hope you guys had a great time understanding this. I do want to let you know that next session is on Tuesday, and you can text me, and I will also be reaching out to you guys. And there are a lot of people have shown a tremendous amount of interest in starting out this career. This is a great time to start because the job market is opening by Feb, and that's a great time to transition to the job market. So with our support and guidance and coaching, we will be helping you with transitional job market. You can always talk to me one-on-one. And so yes, you guys have a great weekend. We'll get in touch with you guys and see you guys back on Tuesday. Okay, thank you so much, guys. Have a great night. Thank you, Nishant. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you,
Thank
Sudesh. Thank you,
you.
Thank
everyone.
Thank
you.
you,
Good
Good
night.
night.
Nishant.
You.
Thank you.
Thank you.